Hello, this is the Invisible Man. No, this is Mr. Napkin. This is David Cross from indispensable.leadership.org. Indispensable Leadership. We've made a new step here. I've actually got this little thing here because I had to go into a giant. It's my mother's birthday. My mother's no longer with us, and I wanted to get one of those candles that commemorates a person's life. So happy birthday, Mom. I wanted to talk to all of you about one specific thing that has been a little bit on my mind. We're talking about crisis a lot lately because we're all in a crisis, but it occurs to me that we're in a couple different kinds of crises. I mean, some of us are in one kind, some of us are in another. I've talked before about the book by Richard Nixon, Six Crises. He talks about the positive benefits of a crisis. And I know what he's talking about from being a trial attorney, when you're geared up and when you feel like you can beat the world because you've got this thing, this incredible life and death struggle that you're in. And for those people on the front line, that's the crisis they're dealing with. For those heroes, the nurses, the doctors, even the people just going out and going to the stores that are required to be open. They're going to kind of synthesize what they're looking at. They're going to kind of deal with the important things, the important aspects of this disaster. They're going to have to worry about being safe. They're going to have to worry about keeping their family safe. And so that's going to kind of focus them in a way. When I was doing a murder trial, something like that, I was focused in a way that I've never been focused in my life. But that's not the issue for most of us. For most of us, the issue is, how do we survive without going crazy, right? The issue is, how do we survive without killing the kid? How do we survive without going nuts because we're losing money? How do we not get bored? How do we not eat too much? It occurs to me that the greatest danger in terms of personal growth, we're not talking about the greatest danger of the crisis. The greatest danger of the crisis is death. The greatest danger of the crisis is obvious. But I'm talking to those of you who are entrepreneurs, those of you who are at home, those of you who are thinking, oh, what am I going to do? The greatest danger you have is distraction. This is the biggest distraction we've ever been handed in a long time. And we all know about distraction. Christmas is a big distraction for most of us. And, before you know it, you're having office parties and you're really not getting work done. Well, this is a giant distraction. And it becomes easy to wake up, turn on the social media, find out what insanity has happened yesterday, find out what insanity is due to today, and kind of ride along that. And some people are out there saying, listen, just, this is a time to hang out at home, watch TV, and obviously, anything that keeps you sane during this, there's nothing wrong. But what I'm going to do, because I have 3 businesses, and they're all crushed by this thing. I have Bowtie Tours, which is no longer operative for the moment. That gives local walking tours in Philadelphia. I have Chasing American History, which has long-term tours, and those tours have been canceled. And I have Indispensable Leadership, and the seminars that have been scheduled have been canceled. So all of my businesses are shut down for the moment. So what do I do? Well, I can run up and down the living room and freak out. But for all of us who are entrepreneurs, all of us who are kind of creating our own wealth, all of us who are out there as leaders, what's the one thing we've said we needed more of? All of us. Time, right? We're all, if I had time, I would write this book. If I had time, I would finally really figure out how to do this social media, and I would get that website just humming. If I had time. Guess what we have? We have time. So this is my challenge. This is my challenge to myself, and this is my challenge to you, what I want at the end of this, and again, I'm focusing on how we're dealing with it for our lives. I'm not talking about the bigger picture, which is we need as a country and as a world to survive this with the least amount of people dying. But as we look at it in our own personal vein, what I want to see at the end of this is I want to be able to say, if it hadn't been for that, ... There's really no good events or bad events, there's just events. And every bad event is going to have its good side, and every good event has its bad sides. I'm a science fiction geek as well as, a history geek. And there's an episode in which Doctor Who has the ability to destroy the Daleks completely, to go back in time and make it so that they're never created. And he realizes, I can't take this on myself, because as evil as they are, think of all the things, the positives that have been created, the alliances from other planets to combat them. For all I know, by stopping the Daleks from being alive, I'm going to create real problems in the world. Anyway, this is an opportunity for you to do those things you've always said you didn't have enough time to do. And what I want to do at the end of this is be able to say, you know what, I really set something up here that wouldn't have been set up. And part of what that is going to be my presence on the social media. I've got a couple really exciting podcasts that are coming up next week that I'll tell you about as we go along, but they're going to be discussions with some pretty impressive people who are fighting this thing on the front lines. I've got a psychological expert who's very busy because, of course, everybody's got psychological problems that this is causing. And I've got a health expert. Everyone's eating whatever they need to eat. We're all being told, and it's not terrible advice, just do what you have to do to get through this. And we're bored, we're at home, everyone's eating like crazy. We used to have health clubs that we went to. We used to have the yoga thing that we went to. And so now we're into this a couple weeks, and we see that it's going to be long lasting. And so now is the time for those of you who have slipped, for those of you who have done nothing but watch Netflix, for those of you who have been just running to the refrigerator or drinking. Now's the time to kind of realize this is going to be here for a little bit. This is going to be happening for a little bit. And we could sit there and we can just get through it. Or we can get through it in such a way that in the future we look back to this time and we say that was a horrible time, but these are the benefits I got from having that time. It's a horrible thing. It's also a gift. It's a gift of time that we have. We have no choice. We have been given so much time to do the things we've never had the time to do. So now what's your excuse?